Yeah, you tuned into the right place. Welcome to the rain. Golden Queuing. H2.0. Yeah. You're looking for a diamond, found a treasure in the rough. Tired of all the noise, cause you finally had enough. I'm here to build a movement on a mission for the nation. Dropping gems of knowledge, killing all the hesitation. We fighting for the truth, yeah, we fighting for what's right. Building unity and shining up a brand new light. It's a variety channel, but the vision's crystal clear. Pushing us all forward, conquering the doubt and fear.
Welcome to the Queendom, H2.0 on your screen, where the content's real and smart and funny in between. This is more than just a stream, it's a platform for the change. Time to elevate the game and rearrange. If you're ready for a vibe that you can feel and trust, joining in the movement is a definite must.
This ain't just another channel talking smack behind the screen. It's a spotlight for the creators, building up a better scene. Spreading radical love, that's the message and the code. Helping everybody carry up a heavy load. From social justice issues to the laughter that we need. Planting seeds of progress, watch them grow from just a seed. This is authentic, this is raw, this is everything you saw. Welcome to the battle that is truly being fought.
Ooh, so come with your respect and see the real effect. Cause I protect my own right here on the throne. Don't make me unleash the dragon.
Subscribe, ring that notification bell. Yeah, you don't wanna miss a thing. Welcome to the family. Yeah.
Hey y'all, what's up? It's your girl Golden. I'm back with another live, y'all. Of course, you know, we got more political updates to get into. So that's what we'll be doing on this live today. I hope everybody is having a wonderful day. The weather is so nice here where I'm at, and I live in, you know, the Carolinas, we'll say, in the United States. And it's about 2:06 Eastern time, but the weather is really nice outside, y'all. And it's crazy because like this is supposed to be considered the winter season. And so we have like these cold, nasty days, and then we have like these really warm, almost like summer days. And the weather here is really weird. It's very mixed and mashed up. But today is an excellent day. It feels so nice outside. The sun is shining. I'll be taking my son out after this, so he can ride around his little car. But anyway, we got some things we got to get into, y'all. Some updates I wanted to come and bring back to y'all. So we're going to talk about a few things. Let me go ahead and break down the synopsis of what we'll be talking about this afternoon. So we'll talk about the Trump invasion and special forces backlash. We are seeing an unprecedented level of pushback from the military community. A prominent special forces Democrat has gone gloves off against what many are calling the Trump invasion. Following Operation Absolute Resolve, the alleged snatching of Nicolas Maduro from Venezuela, military experts are sounding the alarm. This veteran argues that using elite units for political stunts or territorial grabs undermines decades of intelligence dominance and puts our service members in a very impossible position. We have some video footage of him talking about that, so I'll show that to y'all in just a moment. Also, we have Denmark and the NATO crisis. The tension isn't just in the south, it's in the north as well. Denmark reportedly is furious and preparing for the worst as Trump administration appoints a special envoy to Greenland. Danish Prime Minister Mette, oh my God, I hope I don't say his name wrong, Mette Frederiksen has been clear. Any move to annex Greenland would be the end of NATO. We are looking at a scenario where our closest allies are talking about world war. Contingencies in the total collapse of the post-World War II security order because of the White House interest in Greenland minerals and strategic location. So we have been hearing a lot, from Trump talking about we need Greenland next. Greenland is next. Greenland is next. If we're going to take them, we're going to take them. All of that type of stuff, child. And they heard and they seen what was being said, and they're not going down without a fight. So we'll get into a little bit of, reportings and talks on that. Also, we have Representative Al Green, and he issues out a dire warning. Domestically, the rhetoric is just as heavy. Congress Al Green took to the House floor just yesterday with a chilling message. He stated clearly that he fears for the lives of the American people and even his own life, calling Trump a threat to the Republic. Green is once again leading the charge for impeachment, insisting that no one is above the law and that the current path of the administration is leading toward a national catastrophe. I cannot agree more. We'll also get into Mamdani and the 2026 blueprint. Finally, there is a glimmer of a different path for the opposition. After schooling Trump rhetoric during the NYC mayoral race, the newly inaugurated Zohran Mamdani is being highlighted by Ari Melber as the path to victory for 2026 by focusing on politics outside grassroots labor movements, affordable housing, and economic populism. Mamdani has shown that a progressive miracle is possible even in a polarized climate. In this strategy, that will redefine the Democratic Party in the midterms. And we know that the midterms are coming up soon. So let's go ahead and get into it, y'all. We are going to put up a few of these videos. This is the very first one that I want to put up for y'all to share. Excuse me, I'm just getting everything set up. My computer moving a little slow, so I apologize. Okay. So this is from MS Now, and this report is I'm not mad at you. Renee Good's last words captured by ICE agent who unalived her. This is a bonus video. I wanted to start out with this one because I did play some of the content from what happened to that woman in real full time. Okay, that was captured on cell phones and other devices as well and was released to the public so we can see different images and different angles of what really went down. This video gives us even more information and different angles and images and also talking points of what happened in that very dire moment. So we would like to say RIP to Renee. I hate that this had to happen to her, and I hate that this is happening more consecutively than, should be fit. People should not be losing their lives like this left and right. And we have to say trigger warning, and we have to use, all of these safe words. But it is what it is. The woman was, what. And so let's get into this video, y'all. Again, this is coming from MS Now. This is additional footage that has been released of some of the conversation and the engagement with that terrible, terrible encounter with the ICE patrol. And with that woman losing her life. So let's go ahead and listen and watch some of this footage. Trigger warning, and yeah, fair use.
Lies are getting even more brazen about who Renee Good, the 37-year-old mother of three, was and how she died. No one could watch the numerous eyewitness videos of her death and in good faith make the kinds of claims the Trump administration has been making and continues to make. That she was committing domestic terrorism, that she ran over the agent who's now recovering in the hospital, threatening his life, with a maroon Honda Pilot that had stuffed animals flowing out of the glove compartment box. Those claims never rang true. That much was immediately obvious. And it became even more obvious today with the leak of a new video from the confrontation with ICE that led to the shooting death of Good. What we got today was a cell phone recording captured by the man who killed her. It's the first look we have gotten of Renee Good alive and then dead. It was first obtained this afternoon by a conservative website. Hours later, MS Now got its own copy from the Department of Homeland Security, a copy that is roughly 10 seconds shorter than the leaked version and omitted a few key details. So I want to play the longer version for you now. And as we have been the last few days, caution you that it is incredibly disturbing.
I'm not mad at you. Show your face. I'm not mad at you. That's okay. We don't change our plates every morning, just so you know. It'll be the same plate when you come talk to us later. That's fine. U.S. citizen, former fucking veteran. You want to come at us? You want to come at us? I say go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
Out of the car. Get out of the fucking car. Get out of the car.
Oh!
Fucking bitch.
That is how Renee Good lost her life. That is what the government claims was domestic terrorism. So what did you see? Again, I'll let you decide. Here's what I saw. The masked, armed ICE agent who has been identified as Jonathan Ross exits his car. The first thing he sees is Renee Good's dog in the backseat of her Honda. How many domestic terrorists have you seen taking their dogs for a drive out of operation? One thing that this portion of the video is missing from version released to us by DHS, you might ask yourself why. Perhaps they don't want people seeing Good's dog in the car. Then we see Ross circle the vehicle while recording, holding his phone to do so. He walks in front of the car, makes eye contact with Renee Good behind the driver's wheel. This is where she speaks to the man who will end her life, saying, "I'm not mad at you." Ross then circles to the back of the car. He records Good's license plate, and here you can see the rear window stickers for national parks and kennel clubs on her Honda Pilot. He is verbally taunted by a woman who is believed to be Renee Good's wife. After that exchange, she goes to get in the passenger side of the car. Then agents yell at Renee Good to get out of the car. And at this point, Ross again walks in front of the vehicle recording Renee Good. He still has his phone out. The phone is out even as he pulls a gun. The last thing she does is move the wheel to the right before she starts to pull forward. You can see Ross lowering the phone as he fires 3 shots. After Renee Good is shot, after her car rolls towards an electric pole and Ross walks alone toward the car, you can hear a voice on the video uttering the words, "fucking bitch." We cannot confirm with certainty it is Ross's voice calling the dead woman a fucking bitch. That video was obtained by a conservative website with close ties to the Minneapolis Police Department. Minutes after it was published online, it was retweeted by, I guess, the guy who's doing this full time, Vice President J.D. Vance, who told his followers to watch it because, quote, the reality is that Ross's life was endangered and he fired in self-defense. So they seem to believe this video makes their case for them. Vance is using it to suggest Renee Good was not, quote, an innocent woman. And his sustained campaign to demonize a dead mother of 3 is so bad his religious faith is being challenged. The National Catholic Reporter yesterday, columnist John Grosso wrote, quote, the vice president's comments justifying the death of Renee Good are a moral stain on the collective witness of our Catholic faith. His repeated attempts to blame Good for her own death are fundamentally incompatible with the gospel. Our only recourse is to pray for his conversion of heart. He's right, it is a moral stain, but it's not the only one. Despite already giving their theory of the case, the Trump administration is still refusing to share evidence with state or local authorities. In an exclusive interview with MS Now's Josh Einiger, the district attorney of Hennepin County, where Renee Good was killed, appealed to the feds to see reason.
I think it's in the best interest of all of us, including the federal government, to just be really transparent. Just allow the BCA in on the investigation to at least see what kind of evidence that you have, because I think we would all want that thorough information, the investigation, before we make a decision.
Now, the Trump administration, I don't think wants that, probably because Insider Enterprise brought, and it's the lie that Donald Trump ran on. It's the lie that they've continued to push, that the Trump administration is clearing out the most dangerous criminal migrants in America to make those communities safer. I want you to look at this analysis because it's pretty important. According to analysis, the available data by political researcher Austin Kocher, almost all of new ICE detainees held since last September, 92% have no criminal convictions. Those masked men with the guns running roughshod are picking up random people. They're rounding up car washers and daycare attendants, construction workers, sometimes standing down beneath an unfinished house and waiting for them to come off the roof. And American citizens, we should know. American citizens who were just in the way or looked too much like an immigrant, or who have protested out of a desire to protect their neighbors from the incursions of those same masked henchmen of the state. And that's all because the Trump administration has decided to harass and abduct and sometimes shoot people who have committed no crimes and pose no threat, like Renee Good. In a statement to Minnesota Public Radio, Renee Good's wife, Becca, said this today. Renee lived by an overarching belief. There is kindness in the world, and we need to do everything we can to find it where it resides and nurture it where it needs to grow. Renee was a Christian who knew that all religions teach the same essential truth. We are here to love each other, care for each other, and keep each other safe and whole. On Wednesday, January 7th, we stopped to support our neighbors. We had whistles. They had guns.
All right, y'all. So that's the first video that I wanted to come and bring and show to you as far as the updates and the reports on a lot that went down during that tragic incident with Renee and these ICE, whoever they are, enforcement officers. We have watched previous videos before. I did show some of those, and a lot of other platforms have been showing them as well. And this is the most recent one that was put out that gives a little bit more context as far as like what really were the feelings and the emotions in that moment. And I think seeing videos like that and hearing those talk, talking points and statements being made also as to, I believe, the energy that is in the environment at the time from the individuals that are wreaking the havoc on people, right? And it also allows you to hear what the people are saying, the innocent individuals that basically don't want any harm. They're not trying to wreak any havoc. They're just saying, you know what I mean? Like, go on ahead, do what you do. You know what I mean? Like, ain't nobody messing with you, but you decide to mess with people. We can't be sure all of what went down and how it went down, but what I can see is it's a cold-blooded, you know what, and I can't say the word. And it's not fair and it's not right, and these things have to stop, and we are tired of seeing them play out. Time after time, we watch them with our eyes, and then people cannot question us or judge that what we see with our own eyes on the raw screen is not what we're seeing. What we hear is not what we're hearing. We're hearing these things, we're seeing these things, and we know this is not right. This is, you know what to call it. You can't say these words here on YouTube because they want you to be so censored in what you say. And I have to be careful because I'm always in trouble when it comes to YouTube, because I'm going to tell the truth and I'm going to talk about the real things that are happening that are affecting us as a people, period. And so, Child, how that works. But anyway, yeah, we know what that was. That was cold-blooded. It was cold-blooded. We know it was. We hear it. We've seen multiple angles of videos. Now we have heard audio. Now we know what it is. We knew what it was when we first saw it, period. And this has to stop. And I'm glad that we have technology and cell phones and things of these natures, so we can take the videos to have the evidence and the proof that they try to hide from us, from the public. Because you know they will. You know that if they have their hands on any type of evidence or proof of what truly really went down and happened, they will hide it, they will twist it, they will bend it, they will do whatever they do to make it disappear. But now we have civilians that do have cell phones, and they record and they hear audio and they see videos and they bear witness as to what really truly happens. Thank God for that. Thank God for that, because that is what allows justice to be brought to people who lose their lives unnecessarily. Anyway, y'all, we're going to get into the next video. So we got Trump over here panicking, okay? Because the MN ICE agent identity is revealed. So that agent, right, that was in that video, his identity has now been revealed and released to the public. And Trump seems to be shaking in his boots when it comes to that. So I do have a video and a report on that. We're going to play that in just a moment. Let me play this song real quick. This is an old one, y'all, but it's one that I think really pertains to what we're talking about right now. It's a song that I created. It's called Ice, and how Ice is cold-hearted. Okay? This is an AI song that I created. Ice, cold-hearted. So we're going to take a quick song break, and when we come back, we're going to get into the next video. Trump is flipping out and panicking because the identity of that ICE agent that, you know what, unalived that woman in cold blood has now been identified. I'll be right back, y'all.
In every language, the boot is the same on any soil. They draw lines on maps, then act surprised when hearts refuse to be divided. This isn't a new story. It's just our turn to write the ending.
Same black vans from Santiago up to Syria. Aim algorithms of hate creating mass hysteria. It's a global franchise, the oppression is syndicated. Borders drawn in boardrooms by men who've never waited in the line for bread or fled a home that's burning bright. They selling fear as virtue in the pale moonlight. Dehumanize the target, make them stats on a spreadsheet, so you don't see the soul when they're dragged out in the streets. The neo-colonial, the digital plantation, use the laws like whips to break the back of every nation. This is ice cold-hearted. The tactic is corporate, the hatred is faceless. A global alliance, they're leaving empty spaces, but the people united will never be vanquished. Cold-hearted, history's watching from all of our places. We know the system and all of its bases. The people united will never be vanquished. See the specter of Columbus in the mining corporations. Hear the echoes of old empires in the peacekeeping stations. From the Congo to the Amazon, the scars are still pigmented. They carved the planet up and wonder why the world's fragmented. Drew a line through Africa, a line through Palestine. Now they build a concrete wall and say the side ain't thine. It's the same old story, profit over people. The steeple on the church is just as tall as the evil. They want our rhythm, our culture, our spice and our labor, but want us silent and grateful when we ask to be a neighbor. This is ISIS cold-hearted. The tactic is corporate, the hatred is faceless. A global alliance, they're leaving empty spaces. The people united will never be vanquished. Cold-hearted, history's watching from all of the races. We know the system and all of its bases. The people united will never be vanquished. What is a home? Is it the dirt beneath your feet? Or the rhythm of a heart that makes your own heart beat? Sacred heartbeat. They can take the soil, they can legislate the soul, but humanity's a fire that they never can
the question comes to you. When the knock comes for your neighbor, what will your hands do? The time for quiet anger is over. The time for action is now. Look to your brother, your sister. Their struggle is yours. Their future is yours. From the streets of Fayetteville to the heart of the world, our pulse beats as one drum. So stand up. I'm so lost in
who fatally shot and killed Renee Nicole Good, a 37-year-old unarmed mother in Minneapolis, Minnesota. The name of that ICE agent is Jonathan Ross. And no, I am not doxing this ICE agent. No, I am not putting him at harm of physical, threats of any kind. It is the DHS secretary herself, Kristi Noem, who stated publicly, straight out of the gate, that the ICE agent who was involved in the killing of Renee Good had himself been involved in a vehicle dragging event just months ago, last year in 2025, that was further confirmed by other members of the administration. It did not take a lot of cyber sleuthing to figure out and put two and two together that the ICE agent who was involved in that vehicle dragging incident in 2025 and that the ICE agent who killed Renee Nicole Good is Jonathan Ross. Based upon sworn courtroom testimony provided by Ross just last month in December of 2025 in the trial of the man who was accused of dragging him and assaulting him, we find out some background about Ross. So let's get into the details now. And again, this is from Ross's own sworn courtroom testimony last month in December of 2025. Jonathan Ross testifying that he was deployed to Iraq from 2004 to 2005 with the Indiana National Guard. And I apologize. I got ahead of myself. The charges that the criminal defendant was faced, Mr. Munoz Guatemala, that's his name, Munoz-Guatemala, was arrested and charged with assault on a federal officer with a dangerous or deadly weapon. Okay. He went to trial last month in front of a jury. He was found guilty, convicted. He's pending sentencing. All right. So like I said, Jonathan Ross testifying he was deployed to Iraq from 2004 to 2005 with the Indiana National Guard. He served as a machine gunner on a gun truck as part of a combat patrol team. Ross testified he returned from Iraq in 2005, went to college and joined the Border Patrol in 2007 near El Paso, Texas. He worked there until 2015, serving as a field intelligence agent gathering and analyzing information on cartels and drug and human smuggling. Ross testified he served as a deportation officer based in Minnesota since joining ICE in 2015. 10 years, I guess, with ICE then. He is assigned to fugitive operations, which means he is arresting, quote, higher value targets in the ICE region that includes Minneapolis. He's a team leader with the FBI's Joint Terrorism Task Force. Ross testifying during this trial that he is a firearms instructor. I'm going to say that again. Ross testifying that he is a firearms instructor, an active shooter instructor, a field intelligence officer, and a member of the SWAT team. He attended the Border Patrol's Academy in New Mexico. He learned to speak Spanish. Okay, so back in June of last year, June 17th, in the Minneapolis suburb of Bloomington, Minnesota, he was the leader. He was the team lead for a group of ICE agents who went to arrest a man who was in the United States illegally. These agents activated emergency sirens and lights, instructing Munoz, Guatemala, to pull over. Ross pulled his car diagonally in front of Munoz, Guatemala, to force him to stop his car. Ross and an FBI agent identified themselves as police officers, according to Ross in his testimony during the trial. They pointed guns at Munoz, Guatemala, who raised his hands. Ross then approached Munoz Guatemala's vehicle and ordered him to put it into park. Ross ordering the driver to lower his window all the way down and warning that if he didn't, he would break it. Ross testifying that he used a device called a, quote, spring-loaded window punch to break the rear driver's side window. And then Ross reached into the car to unlock the driver's door. Let's stop right now and let's reenact this for a second. Munoz Guatemala has stopped his car. I'm assuming the ignition is still on. It's still running. Ross has approached after pulling a gun on the driver. Ross uses a spring-loaded window punch to take out, to destroy, to break the rear driver's side window and reaches in to be able to unlock the driver's side door. According to the trial testimony, Munoz Guatemala drove off while Ross's arm was caught in the car, and Munoz Guatemala accelerated the car, dragging Ross down the street the length of a football field in 12 seconds. Now, that's pretty traumatic. That's a lot. Ross, though, this is interesting, and I want to stay on this for a second with you guys, so stick with me. Ross fired his taser, striking Munoz Guatemala with the taser prongs in the head, face, and shoulder. Munoz Guatemala was not incapacitated by the taser. Eventually, Ross was knocked free of the vehicle by force after the driver drove onto the curb for a second time and back onto the street. Jonathan Ross's right arm was bleeding. An FBI agent applied a tourniquet. He got 12 stitches or 20 stitches at the hospital after suffering multiple large cuts and abrasions as well to his knee, elbow, and face. Ross testifying during the trial, quote, "It was pretty excruciating pain."
Okay, so I just wanted to pause it right there because I want y'all to realize that within the reports with Renee, the things that are being said are all of these things that happened during this case. It wasn't during the encounter that this man had with Renee, this ICE agent had with Renee. He did not sustain those, injuries or things like that in that nature during that time. However, if you listen to the news reports and the things that they are saying, they're almost trying to tie it in together as if that previous encounter that he had from the things that he succumbed or went through during a different ICE raid, if it was an ICE raid, we can't be sure. That is what they're tying into the reports of this current one. And this is why I'm saying it's not fair. It's not right for people to report on stories like this and merge things together when they're not true. So as we are hearing from this report, this is something that happened previously, not with Renee losing her life and no longer being with us. This is something that happened previously, and this is what the reports are showing and talking about. And so I just think that's important to point out because they have tied all of that in and tried to merge and bleed all of that in together. And that's not how it went down in this current experience that this man had with Renee. His injuries and the things that happened to him was not from that encounter. It was from a previous encounter before that he has had with someone else. That needs to be talked about, and the truth about that needs to be brought out.
Now, that was from WBUR.org, a local news affiliate. And that also was from the Associated Press. Now, the New York Times also looking at the court records for Munoz Guatemala's case, acknowledging the same information I've just relayed to you. And by the way, 2 law enforcement officers have identified the ICE agent who killed Renee Good as Jonathan Ross. So there's no confusion about who it ended up being. Apparently, Munoz Guatemala is Guatemalan, who had been convicted of sexual abuse in Minnesota and was illegally in the United States. Now, further details from the New York Times says that Ross fired his taser at Munoz, and Munoz was shocked twice with the taser And again, that the cut to his right arm required 20 stitches. Now, here's some details from the New York Times that WBOR did not have. Munoz, Guatemala called 911 to say that he had been assaulted by an immigration agent. A phone call that ultimately helped officers find and arrest him about a mile away. Munoz, Guatemala stating that he didn't know that that was an actual law enforcement officer that was trying to stop him and take him. I mean, look, I do not condone violence at all. I don't condone violence against law enforcement at all. I am a former prosecutor. I am pro good apple law enforcement, right? I don't call for defunding the police, none of that. But there is a climate that has been created by ICBP and federal agents of fear among people, immigrants and citizens alike, right? Who undocumented migrants and citizens alike who don't know if they're being legitimately stopped by legitimate law enforcement because they're either masked or they're not wearing identification, right? I don't know the specifics about this with Munoz, Guatemala's case, but I do know that that is the defense that was raised. And again, I want to make it explicitly clear, just in case people are not understanding me. I do not condone violence against law enforcement in any capacity. But I wanted to talk about this with you guys because I want to play for you what J.D. Vance had to say about ICE agent Jonathan Ross, the man who fatally murdered Renee Nicole Good in Minneapolis. Take a listen to what Vance had to say because I have some thoughts about it on the other side.
What that headline leaves out is the fact that that very ICE officer nearly had his life ended, dragged by a car 6 months ago, 33 stitches in his leg. So you think maybe he's a little bit sensitive about somebody ramming him with an automobile?
Okay. So J.D. Vance is basically saying, and it makes sense, right, that Ross would be kind of spooked, right? Having gone through this experience of having been dragged with his arm being stitched up and everything, right? Did you ever stop and think, though, that maybe it would make ICE agent Jonathan Ross predisposed to being trigger happy and using his gun instead of his taser? Did anybody stop and think about that? Because in the instance where he's being actively dragged by someone, right? He uses his taser. He didn't use his gun, even though he had exited his vehicle with a gun when he initially approached Mr. Munoz Guatemala's car. He doesn't use the gun to stop Munoz Guatemala from dragging him 100 yards down the street. He uses a taser. I'm going to tell you right now, I am not a betting woman, but I'm going to bet that if Jonathan Ross had used a taser in Minneapolis, Renee Nicole Good would not be dead. End of story. Finally, there's a vitamin company that understands women's specific needs, because whether I'm dealing with aging gracefully or just trying to feel my...
Thank you very much for those statements right there that she just said. And you're so right, Imani, as well. There is a history in revealing who this guy is, not trying to necessarily, tie it to this specific case, but based off of what we know or what we can pull from the evidence of this case and the history of this agent, just like, some things have been discussed before. This is a agent that is not the first time on the job. This is a agent who has done this multiple times before. And this is an agent that will understand, like she just said, why not pull your taser out first? Why do you take gunshots? Excuse my language. And I hope that I don't get into trouble for saying it that way. But some things need to be said the way they need to be said and described the way they need to be described. If you are an agent or a person who has been working with ICE or whatever, DHS, for multiple years, if you are a person who is military trained, if you are a person who knows all these things when it comes to the encounters and the interaction, when it comes to human individuals, you know how to take one out and you know how to dismantle one. Why wasn't dismantling the choice that came first prior to taking one out? Why did you feel the need to take one out if you have the proper training to dismantle someone, right? With a taser. You know how to use a taser. You've used a taser before. Your training comes with teaching you how to use said taser and all said weapons respectfully. Why did you choose that said weapon? Why did you choose to engage and encounter that woman with that level of force? That is the question that I think that we all are asking and we are curious about. And now, given the details that this person is a person that has been trained and has been working in this environment, in this field for a number of years, opposed to also working in a military environment, you are a person that should be very what? Trained and very detailed and very structured in how you engage an individual. You have that training. There's no excuse. You know what you're doing. However, more information will come out and will be reported because you know how these type of things go when it gets greasy. We know how things work and pan out when things get greasy, right? Sometimes someone will take the fall for something because they know that if they take the fall for it, they may not get hit as hard. But if the person who actually did it takes the fall for it, being a newbie or a rookie, that they're going to get in extreme trouble. So sometimes on the noble side of the other side, we have individuals that may be very trained, very, prestige when it comes to what they're doing. And they may put their neck on the line for a younger rookie who doesn't know what they're doing and has made a mistake. We can't be sure. We'll keep paying attention and we'll keep following the reports to see exactly how it all panned out and plays out. But we know this is a thing and it can happen, okay? Because my question is, if we're going to just solely sit here and say, this was the team leader. Thank you, Imani. A team leader, he should have had more control and composure. I agree. I absolutely agree. But I've seen and I've heard and I know that sometimes when you hold a higher rank than someone else, and something like this happens, and a rookie does it, sometimes the person of the higher rank will take the fall for it because they'll probably get into less trouble. They'll get a lesser charge. They'll get a lesser slap on the wrist. They try to save and help their rookies that are working under them. That happens. I know it. I know that to be true. I'm not telling you what I think. I'm telling you what I know. Could this possibly be the case? Could he be taking the fall or being the fall guy for a rookie that got a little trigger happy and did way too much? Because of the fact that he knows, because he is a person who has the training, has the years in, that maybe he's trying to save this person. Maybe he's trying to cover for this person. Can we be sure about that? Who is he taking the fall for? Well, I did see it live on camera. I did see it live on camera. I did. It was moving very fast. I seen that a lot of things happened live on camera, and there were people in certain positions. What I know when it comes to a firearm, that firearms fire fast. That is what I know. And I know that cameras, especially in the current day that we live in, and how, AI and things of that nature can be put into place. Sometimes footage can be distorted or manipulated. I can't be sure. Do y'all think it was at the hands of him and his firearm, or do you think it was at the hands of him and maybe somebody that was on his team. I can't be 100% sure because I've seen how these things go down sometimes. Sometimes it's the bigger man that takes the fall and takes the, you know what I'm saying, says that he's the one who did it because he knows that the small guy, he's going to get eaten up, chewed up, and spit out. And so the ones who have more experience or have been in the game for a longer period of time, sometimes they take it on their shoulders. They take it on the belt because they want to help these little men. I'm not saying that's what it is. I'm just asking questions. I'm not saying that I know for sure. I don't have any evidence. I don't have any proof. I don't know. I'm just asking, what do y'all think really went on? What do y'all think really happened in this moment? Do you think he made a mistake? Now, let's also get into this. This is an individual, right, that has served previously within the military, has been previously on the docket, I believe, for ICE and things like that, Border Patrol. And this is a person that I think has suffered extreme amounts of PTSD. That is true. For what I believe that can happen to individuals that experience certain things like that. So this could be a person that's walking around with unresolved PTSD that has not maybe been, I don't know, taking medications, seeing therapists, any of those things, but yet put back in the line of duty while not being stable enough to do so. When that happens, no good really can come from it, because when certain situations like this appear and they come up, that person will be triggered into their PTSD that they suffer with every day. And they'll make moves and they'll do things based off of not their training all the time, but more so their trauma. Not training, but trauma. And that can lead to fatalities. These are individuals that are probably needing a little bit more of mental help when it comes to the things that they've experienced and they've been through. And to be put right back out on the front lines without the proper help mentally, medically, that they need, it can put them in a position where they're not making the best choices. Because every moment they live and every scenario that they're in reminds them of a previous scenario that they've been in. That is what PTSD is. You keep referring back to the last traumatic experience that you have had, you have witnessed, you've lived through, and you fought through. And every experience after that attaches to that experience. That's not someone that I think is in a healthy or a safe space to be in the position that they hold. But again, I'm not no professional. I'm not no doctor. I'm not no psychiatrist. I can't say that on record. It's my opinion. Everybody has an opinion. It is my opinion and my thoughts as when it comes to how individuals move and operate after they have experienced a traumatic situation. So could that possibly be what it is? Could that possibly be why he responded and operated the way he did? Not to say that it's okay for him to operate that way because he's suffering from a level of PTSD. But what I'm saying is, are we supposed to put individuals who are suffering heavily from PTSD back out on the front lines to do work? Are we supposed to release them and say that they're okay and they're qualified to go back to work? That could be something that I think needs to be checked on a little bit more, if you ask me. If someone is suffering from extreme amounts of PTSD, That's not going to be good for them going into the next situation that they have. That may even be similar to something that they experienced before, because they haven't healed from it. They haven't had the proper treatment for it. You know what I'm saying? Does that, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel as though you have to get the proper help first to be in a proper position to have that job or that position or that role. And if you are suffering from extreme amounts of PTSD because of something you previously been through and have not healed from properly and fully, then it's probably too soon for you to get back on the job. Do you understand what I'm saying when I say that? That's what I mean. People have to give themselves time, and they have to understand when they're not equipped for the job based off of prior traumas and experiences that they may have undergone or been through. If you have not healed from those experiences and those traumas, you may walk into this new job, this new assignment, or whatever it is that you're on, carrying on your back the same luggage, the same baggage that you accumulated from things that you've been through previously. And it may cause you to operate and move in a direction currently that can be fatal. And as we see, this turned out to be fatal. Can we be sure that's the reason? We can't be sure. But can we question it? Can we ask? Yeah, I think we can. Because we need answers.
I guess. Are backed.
Just started an anti-inflammatory diet, and at first I was nervous. I wouldn't have.
Gun, he's not going to use his taser. Here's th.com. So, ICE agent Jonathan Ross sounds predisposed to me because of the trauma that he experienced through no fault of his own, right? In that incident last year with Mr. Munoz Guatemala's case, he's predisposed to fear, to trauma, so he's going to use his gun. He's not going to use his taser. Here's another thing I want to point out to you. Did you notice as well in the videos from the bystander footage from the killing of Nicole Good, none of the other officers on scene, and there are at least 1, 2, 3, 4 that we can visibly see in and around the immediate vicinity of Renee's car, including the officer agent who had his right hand on her door handle on the driver's side and his left hand reaching in. Notice none of them pulled a gun, none of them pulled a taser, none of them pulled a weapon. The only one who pulled a weapon was ICE agent Jonathan Ross. And this is after he was sauntering around the back of Renee's SUV, holding a cell phone, recording God knows what. Still haven't also gotten confirmation, people, that Ross's body cam was on and operational at the time. I think that question needs to be answered immediately. But of course, we're not going to get those answers if we're Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension, because we've been booted and frozen out of the investigation courtesy of the feds. It's a whole other conversation. So ICE agent Jonathan Ross is in the back of the vehicle. There is new footage that has been released that we can now see that it is Renee Nicole Good's wife, partner, trying to get back into the passenger side of the SUV. Next to her is Jonathan Ross. Again, no exigency, no urgency, no fear, nothing. Even though that car is on, it is idling. Renee is in the driver's seat. She has now waved other cars to go ahead of her. And it is obvious that if her partner is trying to get into the car, what are they going to do? They're going to leave. They're not using the vehicle to ram and kill law enforcement. Okay. So Ross is the only one who pulls a weapon, and he doesn't pull the taser. He pulls a gun and he fires 3 shots, killing Renee Nicole Good. The other thing is this. If you're going to use and you're going to escalate to lethal force, the use of force matrix. And by the way, putting aside the violations of the training and the policies that deal with use of lethal force, you can use lethal force in defense of yourself and others for fear of serious bodily injury or death. There were no other ICE agents that were located to the right of the trajectory of Renee's SUV. What do I mean by that? Meaning it was just Jonathan Ross to the left driver's side front panel of the SUV and other ICE agents and law enforcement to Renee's left and to the back down the street. There were no other law enforcement agents down the street, right? So who is Jonathan Ross protecting when she's leaving? When Renee is driving her SUV with the wheels turned to the right, away from law enforcement, when she's trying to get away because she's been ordered to leave, one of those or more than one of those law enforcement agents ordered her to leave. She was trying to leave. She moved her car forward, and then she got cut off by a departing vehicle, right? And then she was waiting. She's waving other cars to leave. She's leaving. So who is Ross protecting? He can't say that he was protecting other officers, and no one can't say that. Trump can't say that, and Vance cannot say that. Nobody can say that he was protecting other law enforcement officers because there were none of them down the way. I'm going to play one more thing that J.D. Vance said. Take a listen. I'll give you some thoughts.
Nobody debates that. I can believe that her death is a tragedy while also recognizing that it's a tragedy of her own making and a tragedy of the far left who has marshaled an entire movement, a lunatic fringe against our law enforcement officers.
No. Not only did J.D. Vance lie throughout the entirety of this soapbox, ridiculous monologue that he did, that was an insult to the intelligence of the American people, because we can believe what we see with our own eyes. But no, this is not a tragedy that was of Renee Nicole Good's own making. This was a tragedy with criminal and civil implications. The civil implications are a no-brainer. A civil lawsuit is a no fucking brainer. The criminal case, as I've mentioned a couple of minutes ago, now being significantly hampered because the U.S. attorney in Minnesota, say his name, Dan Rosen, Trump appointee with no prior prosecution experience whatsoever, no criminal experience whatsoever, right? This guy is now making decisions about investigating a police-involved or an officer-involved shooting. The U.S. attorney in Minnesota, Dan Rosen, and the FBI, the feds, the Trump administration, the Trump DOJ, they are freezing out the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension. I will tell you, though, the Hennepin County District Attorney, she has made it explicitly clear, and I want to read what she had to say because I think it's important for you guys to get some comfort in knowing this. Mary Moriarty, the Hennepin County DA, saying that her office is, quote, exploring all options to ensure a state-level investigation can continue and that they're speaking to our local partners on paths forward. She's not giving up. Attorney General Keith Ellison from Minnesota is not giving up. The Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey not giving up. They are not giving up. We are not giving up. A fulsome, legitimate, clean, thorough investigation must be conducted of the murder of Renee Nicole Good. We owe it to her. We owe it to her family. We owe it to her memory. We owe it to transparency. And we owe it to the American people. Because they just had a shooting in Portland, did we not? Let's talk about that very quickly, because that is just outrageous to me. Because, oh my God, look at that. Yet another allegation.
Monster Math presents Addition Below 10. Okay, class, let's...
That, according to law enforcement, that a vehicle with a passenger of a, quote, Venezuelan illegal alien affiliated with the transnational Tren de Aragua prostitution ring. Border Patrol agents identified themselves to the vehicle occupants. The driver tried to run them over and say in a defensive shot. The driver drove off with the passenger fleeing the scene. And yet later on, it took the driver of that car to call 911 for medical help because nobody bothered to call anybody for medical help. And both people had been shot. So the Border Patrol agent fired one defensive shot and managed to strike both of them. People. Nobody's going to believe what comes out of any investigation that's spearheaded solely by the feds when it deals with Renee Nicole Good's murder or when it deals with what's happening in Portland. The FBI claiming they're not investigating it. Please, 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 please. For the sanctity and the decency of this country, the state and local authorities must be partners in every sense of the word with any investigation that happens. Alrighty, people, share this video as well as the one I did yesterday that kind of did the breakdown of how Trump, Noam, and others continue to lie about the facts and the events as they rolled out chronologically on that date when Renee Nicole Good was killed. Subscribe, please, and make sure that we continue to get the truth out, because the truth matters. I always say to you, knowledge is power. I am empowering you. We are empowered together. Be mad, be outraged, demand accountability. Katie Fang here. We launched the Katie Fang News Channel in partnership with the Midas Touch Network so we could bring you the latest in legal and political news. Straight, no chaser. So if you're a fellow truth teller, hit that subscribe button and share the word about this channel so we can build a high information America together.
All right, guys. So I really did enjoy that report. And I hope you guys do head over to subscribe also, not just to the Midas Touch Network, but a lot of the correspondents that also work over there as well. We're going to go ahead and take a quick song break. After the song break, we're going to get into the next topic, y'all. And I know I'm running a little bit over time, and I do apologize. But yes, this one is also from the Midas Touch Network. And we'll be talking about Denmark and how they are actually preparing for World War III. So let's go ahead and get into that in just a minute. After the song break, we will be right back.
In every language, the boot is the same on any soil. They draw lines on maps, then act surprised when hearts refuse to be divided. This isn't a new story. It's just our turn to write the ending.
Same black vans from Santiago up to Syria. Aim algorithms of hate creating mass hysteria. It's a global franchise, the oppression is syndicated. Borders drawn in boardrooms by men who've never waited in the line for bread or fled a home that's burning bright. They selling fear as virtue in the pale moonlight. Dehumanize the target, make them stats on a spreadsheet so you don't see the soul when they dragged out in the streets. The neo-colonial, the digital plantation, use the laws like whips to break the back of every nation. This is ice cold hearted. The tactic is corporate, the hatred is faceless. A global alliance, they're leaving empty spaces, but the people united will never be vanquished. Cold hearted. History's watching from all of our places. We know the system and all of its bases. People united will never be vanquished. See the specter of Columbus in the mining corporations. Hear the echoes of old empires in the peacekeeping stations. From the Congo to the Amazon, the scars are still pigmented. They carved the planet up and wonder why the world's fragmented. Drew a line through Africa, a line through Palestine. Now they build a concrete wall and say the side ain't thine. It's the same old story, profit over people. The people on the church is just as tall as the evil. They want our rhythm, our culture, our spice and our labor, but want us silent and grateful when we ask to be a neighbor. This is ISIS cold hearted. The tactic is corporate, the hatred is faceless. A global alliance, they're leaving empty spaces. The people united will never be vanquished. Cold hearted. History's watching from all of the races. We know the system and all of its faces. The people united will never be vanquished. What is a home? Is it the dirt beneath your feet? Or the rhythm of a heart that makes your own heart beat? Sacred heartbeat. They can take the soil, they can legislate the soul, but humanity's a fire that they never can control. A change is coming, oh, the whole world is rumbling. So word, roll on. The hatred is faceless. Global alliance, they're leaving empty spaces.
the question comes to you, when the knock comes for your neighbor, what will your hands do? The time for quiet anger is over. The time for action is now. Look to your brother, your sister. Their struggle is yours. Their future is yours. From the streets of Fayetteville to the heart of the world, our pulse beats as one drum. So stand down. I'm supposed to be
All right, y'all. So let's go ahead and get into the next video. So let's go ahead and hear a little bit of what's going on in Denmark. And of course, this report is coming from none other than Midas Touch and the Midas Touch Network. So let's go ahead and get into that, y'all, and see what is going on, because apparently people are fighting back and speaking up when it comes to a lot of Trump, administration and regime, and how he is trying to bully, basically been watching it. He's trying to bully people. The United States is trying to bully people. And yes, I live here, I reside here, I get it, but I'm not somebody who thinks that these type of things are okay. So it's unfortunate that we have leadership that wants to bully other countries. And I'm glad to see other countries sticking up and standing up for their rights and what is right. So let's see what Denmark has to say. They're preparing, they said, because they think that we're going to be going to World War III. We can't be sure if that is true or not. But if y'all ask me personally, it looks like we are going in that direction. That's just my personal opinion, y'all. Anyway, let's get into it.
Absolutely furious at the Trump regime. Europe is furious at the Trump regime. We're hearing from Germany's foreign minister that they will absolutely invoke all rights under NATO to attack the United States in defense if the United States invades Greenland. Germany's made that very clear. We're learning behind the scenes that Germany, France, and others are actually working up what war plans could look like if the United States invades Greenland, a part of a fellow NATO member. Denmark, Donald Trump, when he held this bizarre meeting with oil executives on Friday, started again defaming Greenland and Denmark. And he said, no matter what, we're going to take it one way or another. We're going to do this the easy way or the hard way, but this is ours. What right does Denmark have to? They sent a ship to it. This is going to be ours no matter what. Watch what Donald Trump said on Friday. Play this.
Now streaming on Hallmark Plus. Join hosts Matthew Lawrence and Chili.
Are you ready?
Put it on.
Thank you. And the policy question. How much money are you thinking of giving people in Greenland to get them on board with a possible U.S.
I'm not talking about money for Greenland yet. I might talk about that. But right now, we are going to do something on Greenland, whether they like it or not, because if we don't do it, Russia or China will take over Greenland. And we're not going to have Russia or China as a neighbor. Okay? I would like to make a deal, the easy way, but if we don't do it the easy way, we're going to do it the hard way. And by the way, I'm a fan of Denmark too. I have to tell you, and they've been very nice to me. I'm a big fan, but the fact that they had a boat land there 500 years ago doesn't mean that they own the land. I'm sure we had lots of boats go there also. But we need that, because if you take a look outside of Greenland right now, there are...
All right, y'all. So we will continue with the rest of, this commentary. But my question is to y'all, we have to listen and read in between the lines when these individuals, especially politicians, are speaking and talking about how they're moving, why they're moving, in the direction they're moving. I listen to certain key words. I hear boats. When I hear boats, I'm hearing that this is the administration that wants to take over Greenland because of the benefits that they can get from it, right? And these type of benefits are what? Sea level, boats, things of that nature. This is what you're looking for, and when you try to make agreements and partnerships and deals with some of these countries, especially based off of your regime that you have going right now, a lot of individuals don't want to work with you. They don't want to partner with you. And so if I'm saying that, that's me saying that a lot of other countries don't want to work and don't want to partner with the United States. This is a country that I live in. I understand these things. But I think that it's fair to talk about the severity of the situation when it comes to this. A lot of other countries are saying, we're out. We don't want to work with you. We don't want to do business with you. We will do business with others. And guess what is happening now? The United States is getting angry about that because there are other countries that have decided they don't want to work with them. They don't. They don't want to work with them. They don't want to do business with them. And when I say them, I really even shouldn't say them. And I say them because it's not me. You know what I'm saying? I just happen to live here. That's it, period. But I'm not the type of person that's like, yes, this is me, this is us, this is our country. I understand what it's going to mean for our country. I understand what we're going to go through because other countries don't want to do business when it comes to these type of deals and things of this nature with the country that I reside in and I live in. I understand that. But I also am a fair person to understand that these people should not want to do poor or bad business. They should not want to work with people that don't have their best interest in mind. And if they decide not to do so, I'm a person that's fair enough and open enough to understand that that's the right choice to make. And a lot of people will think that I'm crazy for saying these type of things and taking that stance. But I do because I understand a lot of this stuff is messed up. A lot of it is messed up. And I know that the United States as a country is a bully country. They bully other countries to get the things that they want and the things that they feel as though they need, they desire to have. And they go in and they do whatever they see fit to get it. First, they try to strike a deal. If these countries say no and they don't want to strike a deal, they'll run up in those countries and snatch it and steal it anyway. It's a bully country that we live in. The United States are bullies. I'm sorry. And people don't like you to talk about those things. And they say, how dare you speak on that? If you live in that country, hurt me, harm me, do what you want to do to me. If I live in this country, I don't care. Right is right and wrong is wrong. This country and the administration and the leadership of this country goes around and bullies other countries out of the things that they have. So we can have the best of the best of the best. But I don't care about the best of the best of the best if it means that you're taking people's lives, if it means that you're infiltrating people's countries and stealing their resources. I don't think that's fair. No, I don't think that's right. I don't think that's the right way to go about it. And so when I speak on these things, a lot of people may think that I'm crazy. I'm insane. How dare you? How dare me what? Speak the truth. It is the truth. This is the truth of how our country operates and moves. It's the truth on how we get a lot of things that we call pleasurable, that we call, beneficial in our lives. A lot of it is stolen, but at what cost? Is it stolen at the cost of others losing their lives? Is it stolen at the cost of other countries being deficit? I don't think any of those things are right or fair. I don't. And I don't care that I live in this country. I'm not the type of person. It's like, oh, well, it benefits me, so I don't care where it comes from and how we got it. I'm not that type of person. I'm not. Other people might be those type of people. I'm not that type of person. I don't think these things are right that we do, that this country does to other countries to get things. How they try to, engage in business transactions and so on and so forth. I don't agree with any of that. I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's right. But that makes me what? A sellout now? I guess it would. I guess if you take it by what these people say and how they think and feel, that would make me a sellout. That would be, I'm the ops, I'm on the outs, I'm someone who's speaking against, what is beneficial for this country. I think that there are things that are beneficial for this country and other countries simultaneously. And I think that those type of business transactions are the ones that should be operated and pulled to the forefront. Everybody should end up good, not just one person, one country. I don't believe in that. I don't stand for it. And I know that there are things that are going to change in this country that are going to be harder for us as citizens that reside in this country. I understand that. I really do. However, my heart and my integrity that God has given me tells me that these things are not right. The way that all of this is being orchestrated and playing out is not the way God desires for it to be orchestrated and played out. This is man-made. When it comes to politics, politics is man-made. And I don't agree with any of it because I operate and I'm more so, reside on the side of spiritualism with God, with how things are supposed to be when it comes to this, not just this country, but this world, period. That's what I believe in. That's what I hold true to. And so when I speak against certain things, yeah, I guess it may look like I'm going against my own cause. I'm going against my own benefit. Maybe I am. I don't think some of these things are right. I really don't. But let's just keep going. Let me play some more of this video so y'all can hear. This is what they want.
Russian destroyers, there are Chinese destroyers and bigger. There are Russian submarines all over the place. We're not going to have Russia or China occupy Greenland, and that's what they're going to do if we don't. So we're going to be doing something with Greenland, either the nice way or the more difficult way.
Then Thomas Dans, one of Trump's people on the Arctic Research Commission who's been representing Trump on this issue, he says the same thing, not ruling out military invasion. Let's play it.
He said the U.S. will take over Greenland and did not rule out the use of force.
The key point here is that I think President Trump's been clear on is America needs this for America's national security. There is a major risk to American national security. If it doesn't, there's also by extension, major risk to our European partners and really to the free people around the world. So we're at a situation where the current status quo is untenable. So things need to change. So they will change. But I think, as I said before, that eventuality is slight. It's not something that needs a lot of discussion.
So, Thomas, it sounds like you're saying that this is going to happen either the easy way or the hard way, but it's going to happen.
Look, I think if you ask President Maduro, the former, this week, he would probably agree with that statement. President Trump's been clear. And so this is the opportunity for everybody to come to the table and I think find the win-win-win deal I've talked about.
And just to be very clear then, bottom line, military, yes or no?
Bottom line is everything's on the table. Everything's always on the table.
I want to bring in the former ambassador to Denmark from the United States, Rufus Gifford. You served in that position from 2013 to 27, Obama's second term. For those listening on audio, the ambassador's shaking his head just even hearing that. And I was preparing for this interview. I watched the video you made in 2012 when you were appointed as ambassador starting in 2013, and the warmth which
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
The warmth with which your reception message. I wanted to get a vibe. I mean, I saw you and your partner bicycling there, and you talked about the cultural bonds between the U.S. and Denmark. And so this, when you see this, it's such a striking difference. But what do you make of what's going on now, Ambassador?
Oh, Ben, like, where do you start? But first, I'm going to start. I mean, look, I feel so passionately about this. The first thing that I'm struck by is obviously, so there's a couple of words that come to mind: reckless, clueless, a complete misunderstanding of history, a complete misunderstanding of the way NATO works. So let me just start with this. He makes the argument about national security. He says that Greenland is going to become Russian or Chinese if we don't take it. Well, that misunderstands how NATO works, because honestly, in fact, NATO was formed in part to avoid something like this from ever having to happen. Because if Greenland were, God forbid, attacked by an adversary, invaded by an adversary, let's say the Russians, the entire alliance, Article 5 would be invoked, and the entire alliance would be compelled to respond. And so, in essence, whether Greenland is under Danish control or American control, it actually makes no difference from an American national security standpoint. The NATO alliance is based on this idea that our national security, the alliance's national security, is universal, that it's the same. So in essence, the whole argument falls apart. I also don't believe that that's real. I don't believe that that is in any way part of his desire here. But and not only that, it goes further than that, Ben. And this is why, is that anyone who is crazy enough to argue that national security, that the national security of the United States would be strengthened by taking a stake to the heart of NATO, arguably the best alliance the modern world has ever seen. You take a stake to the heart of NATO, I guarantee you this. What two things happen automatically? Russia and China are empowered. And two, the entire Western alliance is less safe because of that. So it is anyone who has any national security experience would tell you that that argument is bogus, flawed, incredibly naive, and more than that, like legitimately clueless, and doesn't understand a chapter of a history book for the last 80 years.
You must have lots of connections in Denmark and Greenland based on your time there, and you must be speaking to people in leadership positions who want to lean on you for guidance or just to get information about what's happening. What are you hearing now within Denmark, within Greenland?
So again, Ben, like this is heartbreaking for me, because my favorite word, I'll tell you this, my favorite word in the English language is the word trust. Trust is one of those things that it takes years and years to earn, and it can be broken like that, can be broken with the snap of a finger. And in this case, broken by one administration very, very quickly. The hard part for me is that, I was the guy when I was ambassador, I would go to the prime. This is not partisan. This has not been true of just Democrats or this is not about that. Any ambassador before Donald Trump would have gone to the foreign minister, the defense minister, the prime minister. We would ask them to send their young men and women into harm's way without reservation. They always said yes. They bled alongside American soldiers. They died alongside American soldiers. Denmark lost more young men and women per capita in Afghanistan than any country other than the United States of America. This rhetoric, that ridiculous rhetoric by the president of the United States, it isn't just about the government. It isn't just about Greenland. It actually hits them. This is where I think it's going to impact every single American, is that it makes them lose faith in us. And that makes them less likely to, I mean, this is the stupid transactional stuff, right? But it makes them less likely to travel here. So many of them have sent their kids to school here. They're less likely to do that. They're less likely to buy American products. Businesses are less likely to invest here. This trust that's broken, the work of diplomacy, is very hard to build back. So that's what I hear from my Danish friends. I got a heartbreaking note from a Danish soldier yesterday morning, which I posted, and it's gone viral. And it's just about, I'm actually going to read you the last line of it because it's so powerful. It's like, it's a soldier never forgets who stood by his side. Nations shouldn't either. And come on, guys, like this is just human. This is absurd, the way that he is treating one of our best allies in the world with outrageously flawed rationale. And I will say too, look, the weird thing is everything I'm saying, I know I'm speaking pretty forcefully. Everything he says he wants, which is an increased military presence in Greenland and increased economic partnership with Greenland, we could have tomorrow, Ben. If you sat across the table with some of our best allies in the world, the Danes and the Greenlanders, rolled up your sleeves, and we would make that deal. We would make that deal. We would make that deal. They would make that deal gladly. This ridiculousness. I just don't even know. This Americans, be real clear. This rewrites the world order. In a way that we don't know what's on the other side of it. And so take it seriously. It matters. And we're going to do everything. I know that I'm going to do everything I possibly can to ensure that it actually doesn't happen. Everything that they just said in those clips you just played doesn't happen, because it would be awful for every single American citizen.
To your point, if this was truly about military security, that could have been accomplished yesterday. If it's about increased economic development of rare earths, that could have been done yesterday. If it was about, I don't know, improving tourism or building further bonds, or I don't know, even perhaps building more American things in Greenland, all of these things could be done by cooperation. So you have to ask, well, what's this really about here? And then when you listen to the people in Trump's cabinet and Donald Trump and the way he views the world, it's about power and being a predator. And they use that language. They say that the United States is a predator country. Listen to what a lot of the people in his inner circle say. And as predators, it is about conquest and manifest destiny and taking over. And I think he looks at the map, which shows Greenland looking bigger than it actually is because of the way the globe is. But he looks at a massive landmass and he sees it close, the same way he looks at Canada, except I think he views Canada as being a little more difficult to take over. And he goes, it's a big landmass. There's 50,000 or so, whatever number he gives of the people in his own mind that live there. This is easy to take over. And imagine how beautiful the map would look if that was America. I think I think when you really break it down, he doesn't know what comes next, doesn't care about what that does for NATO. And I'll throw it to you in a moment. I also find that Trump escalates the Greenland rhetoric when he has a meeting with Putin's people. So the moment Dmitriev and Yushakov met in Miami with Trump's people, special envoy Jeff Landry gets talked about. And I just feel like it's the same thing, and that connection is so there. So what do you make of that? Because it seems very Putin.
A couple of things on this. So I agree with you. I do. I think that I find it fascinating. They're actually lumping Greenland and Venezuela together, because they actually couldn't be any more different. Look, I disagree profoundly with the tactics used by the Trump administration by Venezuela, but I think a lot of people could agree that Venezuela is better off under Maduro. And so that, and everyone from Marco Rubio to the president have said this was more of a law enforcement operation than anything else. Greenland is entirely different. Greenland is attacking an ally, attacking and provoking essentially a fight with your best friends. That's what it is. Venezuela is nothing like that. Venezuela and Greenland do have two things in common, though. And this is why I think it's interesting when Trump lumps them together. The Trump administration lumps them together. The first thing is resources. Venezuela has oil. Greenland has rare earth minerals. The second thing is Western Hemisphere domination, which is your point. I think that it's and I think it tends to make sense because their arguments for needing it don't hold any practical, logical water, Ben. Like zero. They don't hold any water for anybody who knows anything about history or American foreign policy.
So where do we go from here? What's next? What do you see happening?
So, Ben, this is what I say. Look, I think that the truth of the matter is that we need to talk about this. We need to articulate how important this issue is. And this is not just about Greenland, an island of 57,000 people. And yes, that is the actual right number, not what the Trump administration tells you. Let's be clear, none of those people have ever been there. The only one who's ever been there is J.D. Vance, who was there for a couple of hours on our military base because he wasn't welcome in the rest of Greenland. This is what I say. I say we got it. I do think, look, I haven't been particularly forgiving of Republican members of Congress and senators over the course of the last year. Many of them have spoken out in the last couple of days, and I think that's a good thing. I think we have to build a movement inside the United States domestically that convinces both elected members of Congress as well as the American people that this kind of action flies in the face of American self-interest. This is one man's selfish self-interest. This is not American self-interest. That's vitally important. I do think also our allies need to step up here. I think that for the longest time, our allies have been playing by sort of a traditional playbook as it relates to Donald Trump. They'll talk about treaties signed decades ago, agreements made with other presidents. Donald Trump doesn't care about any of that. And I think we need to be playing hardball here. If he's not going to listen to the Danes and the Greenlanders, then maybe he will listen to a larger collection of people who say that they will somehow retaliate against the United States were Americans to take this unprecedented action. And I do think that's important. And again, I'm speaking like this, Ben, as a patriotic American. I speak about it in no other way. And I want greater partnership with Greenland. What I don't want to see is the NATO alliance fall apart. What I don't want to see is our best friends lose faith in us. And that's what we're seeing right now. And I think all of us as Americans have a responsibility to fight as hard as we possibly can against that.
Rufus, I hope you come back. I want to talk more about this, but we appreciate your time. Let's stay in touch on a weekly basis, at least, because we're going to need to have you on more to give us more updates. But Rufus Gifford, former ambassador to Denmark from 2013 to 2017. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Ben. Anytime. Thanks for having the conversation.
Everybody hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million subscribers.
Want to stay plugged in? Become a subscriber to our Substack at MidasPlus.com. You'll get
y'all, I love me some Ben, okay? I love watching Midas Touch. It's one of my favorite channels to watch and get reports from. So you will see that presented a lot in some of my political coverage that I do have here on this channel. I hope y'all are enjoying the live and you like it. I really thank you so much for the ones who are here with me and, you know, participating in this live. And even if there are things that we disagree on or things that it's like maybe I don't have right, I don't have any problem with you correcting me and letting me know that I may have something a little bit off, you know what I mean, that I'm speaking on or I'm talking about. I really appreciate that. I think that's how we grow a community. I think it's how we build strength when it comes to our mentality with all of these things that are going on, no matter where we're located in this big, beautiful globe. And so, you know, I will go on now to play a quick song. And after this song, y'all, we take a song break per usual. after this song, we are going to get into the next video that I do have to present to y'all. We have 2 more left, y'all, just 2. So this one and then the second one, and then we'll be done, and I will let y'all go. I don't want to hold you too long. But we do have some commentary from Mamdani, which is the mayor of New York City. And he has some things to say after he has seen a lot of the things that's going on under the Trump administration. He has a lot of things to speak on this video, and I did want to bring that to the forefront and let y'all hear a little bit of that, because I do like this guy. You know, I don't know if he's the best person for the job. I can't be, for sure. I don't live in New York. However, listening to how he speaks, I do, like some of the things that he says. It seems like he's not scared to say what needs to be said. But anyway, we'll get into that video in just a moment. And of course, for our final video, y'all, we're going to end it with Representative Al Green. And it's unfortunate, but he is speaking on him fearing for the lives of the American people and his own life. So we'll get into that speech in just a moment. But let's take a quick song break and we'll be right back, okay? Thank you all so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. I love you all. Thank you so much for the support. We'll be right back. Let's take a song break.
They drag us from the coast, middle passage madness, where we lost the most. Packed in hoes like cargo, spirits in a cage. Built a brand new nation, lived a life of rage. Yeah, we were the property, the 3/5 compromise. Picked the cotton, built the White House with our hands inside. And they watered all the poplar trees with our blood and cries. Yeah, you know what they were for beneath the southern skies. That strange fruit hanging message of their hate. A simple wrong look was enough to seal your fate. To my brown kin, they just stole it, called it manifest. Killed the Aztecs, stole the planes, put them to the west. Good old days, the signs on the wall. They want us broken, silent, waiting for the call. They wanna push us backwards, drag us down to hell, but we ain't going back, not going back. We ain't going back. We ain't going back. We ain't going back. Let's talk about a word. Let's talk about a word. See how it sticks. 6 letters, COLORED to politics. Not a person, just a label, just a shade on a chart. A legal way to tear a whole damn race apart. Colored water fountain, colored waiting room, colored entrance round the back, a social living tomb. Jim Crow was the law, man. Segregation was the tool. Taught a child to hate his own skin before he went to school. And it ain't just here, that's the global view. Apartheid, colonization, yeah, they did it there too. That word was a weapon, a boot on the neck to say you live, you die, you move at our check. They want the good old days, the signs on the wall. They want us broken, silent, waiting for the call. They wanna push us backwards, drag us down to hell, but we ain't going back. 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 Don't you dare say it's repeating. It never stops. They just got new suits, new slogans, new cops. They ban the books that tell the truth of Act 1. They call a protest riot soon as the marching's done. They tell us get over it, it wasn't us. While they build the same systems of them and us. Gerrymander the district, choke the money from the school. Praise the good old days while they fill the modern jails. This is the warning, this is the last thing. We learned your lessons, now we understand. We are the children of the ones you couldn't break. We are the dreams that you could never ever take. We are the fire you tried to douse with ice. We paid the cost, we ain't gon' pay it twice. You want us back in chains, you want us on our knees. We'd rather die right here standing on our feet. This ain't a threat, this is a promise we fulfill.
controversies at home, major international news. But we are also marking this month an ascent to power of several of the Democratic candidates who just won those off-year November elections, including the most prominent progressive to emerge over the past year, Zohran Mamdani, the 34-year-old sworn in as New York City's new mayor, Bernie and AOC playing a role. He delivered an inaugural speech that put working people at its center and also celebrated this city of New York's famed diversity at a time when Trump and others have attacked DEI. And he did it the Mamdani way, spanning everything from his view of growing up Muslim on bagels and lox to something New Yorkers know about, which is just on overpriced.
Here, where the language of the New Deal was born, we will return the vast resources of this city to the workers who call it home. To love New York is to know that we are the stewards of something without equal in our world. Where else can you hear the sound of the steel pan, savor the smell of sancocho, and pay $9 for coffee on the same block? Where else could a Muslim kid like me grow up eating bagels and lox every Sunday? As the great senator from Vermont once said, what's radical is a system which gives so much to so few and denies so many people the basic necessities.
Mamdani outworked what was the sitting mayor of New York, the one-time political favorite of insiders, Andrew Cuomo, as well as President Trump's effort in the late days of that November countdown to impact the race. Mamdani showed a new energy, which some Democrats clearly crave. He had an upbeat, savvy style that seemed natural for a politician so young. He was just 25 years old when Donald Trump was first elected. Those two New Yorkers have very different takes on their swagger, if you want to call it that. When I asked Mamdani during the campaign about 50 Cent's critique of his plans to tax the rich, he gave a policy rebuttal in detail, and then he effortlessly quoted the rapper's classic song, Many Men, a moment that drew headlines like this and went viral. Many New Yorkers noticed when Mamdani walked out at his victory party to a banger by Ja Rule, who was a rival to the aforementioned 50 Cent. And that drew more headlines about Mamdani's shrewd choice of song, given that recent back and forth. And that kind of fighting among New York rappers is something many New York voters know about. That song was an anthem for the city, and it features a classic verse by Yonkers rapper Jadakiss, reflecting on hometown traditions like little motorcycles and the existential question of who remembers us when we're gone. Jadakiss raps, "It's guaranteed you're gonna die. You might get missed for maybe 2 or 3 hours until they light they spiffs." Bars. Jadakiss is not just a beloved old school rapper, though. He really embodies a certain kind of brash defense of New York against interlopers or haters or people who front by claiming some New York cred without really living it, living the New York life. In fact, it's a point he memorably made at one rap competition by touting how he's outside. And this brings us back to Mamdani, whose love for Jadakiss was already known at that inauguration, where the new mayor quoted Jadakiss at the inaugural address.
And throughout it all, we will, in the words of Jason Terrence Phillips, better known as Jadakiss or J to the moi, be outside. Because this is a government of New York, by New York, and for New York.
Fact check, true. Jadakiss doesn't live in Miami or Colorado. He is outside. And you can come to his block to D-block. Many New Yorkers know what that means. And now their mayor does too. big picture, music connects people. City where a single word or a piece of slang can immediately reveal where somebody lives, how they talk, what they're comfortable with. And more broadly, even still, in our country, music is a language that connects because there are still songs that have the power to remind us we still can be one nation, sharing some affinities, some things we like together instead of only warring over them. Mamdani's a 30-something New Yorker raised on hip-hop. It fits that he reaches for hip-hop's lyrics and references, and sometimes its style and cultural swagger. In his younger days, he even made a kind of a funny rap video about showing respect for grandmothers. But if you're watching this, please don't let your particular personal era or genre preferences distract from a much more important broad dynamic here. Politicians have been invoking music as long as there have been campaign jingles. Democrat Bill Clinton tapped the optimism of Fleetwood Mac in his first victorious presidential campaign, just as Republican Mike Lee nodded towards Swifties.
Don't stop thinking about tomorrow. Bruce, some people are just born to run, man.
I think it's a nightmare dressed like a daydream.
It was all a dream. I used to read Word Up magazine, Salt and Pepper and Heavy D up in the limousine.
Now I notice my palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy.
Obama going Eminem there on the campaign trail. Mamdani, for his part, has clearly updated this long-running habit across different types of music in his own New York state of mind. Now, was that a reference to New York singer Billy Joel? Or was it a reference to New York rapper Nas? You know, with music, the interpretation, it's still up to you. And tonight, we will end on that open-ended note.
All right, y'all. So y'all know how I am. I like to throw a little bit of something up in there. You know, we have to keep it, we have to keep it on the level where we are paying attention to the severity of things that are happening, not just in the country that I live in, but worldwide. But we also can add, a little bit of fun and a little bit of comedy to it as well. So I thought that was a video that I would add to you guys for this live to add a little bit of comedy. And y'all know that I am someone who is a music connoisseur. I love music. I really do. I can't say that I play instruments. I don't play instruments. Have I had instruments in my hand and in my possession previously before, growing up in my life? Yes, I have. I've played the trumpet. I have played the piano. I played the keyboard. I played the clarinet. I played a lot of different instruments. So music is something that's very dear to my heart. And I enjoy and love listening to music. And so listening to that conversation or whatnot around some musicians and artists that are actually in the hip hop or the rap sector, I thought that would be, something really cute to include in the live. There are a lot of rappers and musicians out there that are activists at the same time, and they include their activism in their music, right? In their songs and in their albums that they may put out. And that has happened over a period of time. And so, it's something that I feel as though, we can appreciate, right? Because no matter what level or platform you have a voice based off of that. And you can spread forth a message based off of how you do so, whether it be through music, politics, art, all of the things, right? Anything. There's people that make murals and things like that on, walls and stuff in cities. that are trying to bring forth a message for the people, right? To give them enlightenment or hope or share, some type of tragedy that has happened. That is a form of artwork. And people do artwork in their own different ways, not just with music, sometimes with a spray can bottle, of paint or a paintbrush. These are the different ways that people can express what they feel, what they think, and talk and really, make a story as far as what is going on in the world, in their community, in life, period. They do it in the ways that they see fit in an artistic way. And I love the arts, period. No matter what type of art it is, I love it. So, you'll see a little bit of that from time to time here on my channel, because that's what I want to bring to the forefront. I think that is the best way to express ourselves, through artistic expression. But anyway, y'all, I don't want to keep y'all too long. We're approaching very closely to the 2-hour mark. So I'm going to go ahead and get this last video up on the screen, and we will play that. And I will go ahead and end this live. But this is Representative Al Green, and Al Green, I like him. I think he's dope. He's really cool, for real. That's just how I feel. I don't know if y'all are familiar with him. If you're not, you'll learn about him today, because I'm going to show you who he is and what he's talking about. But let's go ahead and get into this live. So Representative Al Green, unfortunately, says that he is fearing for the lives of American people and his own life as well. And he is calling for the impeachment of Trump. So let's go ahead and get into this video, y'all, and see what Representative Al Green has to say. I really do like him. Y'all check in and see if y'all like him as well. But a lot of things that he has to say and how he speaks, I actually, second the notions that he has. So let's go ahead and get into it, y'all. We'll leave this on a powerful, uplifting ending of this live, because that's literally what he brings to the table every time I listen to him. So y'all let me know if y'all feel the same way. Let's get into it.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, and still I rise. And still I rise, a liberated, unbought, unbossed, unafraid Democrat. And still I rise. And I rise today because I have grave and great concern for the American people. I fear for the lives of the American people. And I do so, Mr. Speaker, because if the President of the United States and his underlings and his persons who are in charge of very powerful agencies within the federal government, if they can convince this country or some significant portion of the people in this country that Miss Renee Good was a terrorist, I fear for the lives of the people in this country. In fact, I fear for my own life. I'm not afraid to speak truth to power. I'm not afraid to speak truth about power. I'm going to speak truth about power today, but I can tell you that I fear for our lives. Because if you can justify what happened to Miss Good after seeing with your very own eyes what took place, and if we can allow the king's men to conclude that only they can investigate this, remove the local constabulary from the process. If this can happen, I fear for our lives. We are now living in a country where people are expected to believe that this mother of three, a Christian woman, seated in her vehicle. Yes, the vehicle was across the roadway, but that somehow she was a terrorist. The head of Homeland Security has as much as said so. A terrorist. Mr. Speaker, I fear for our lives because what we saw when this lady, this woman, was accosted, and I say accosted because men who had on masks in police regalia, I suppose, approached her rather aggressively, it seems to me, and one of them in approaching said, "Get the F out of the car." I'm not using the profanity, but that's what was said. You can see it for yourselves and you can hear it for yourselves. That is what was said. Get the F out of the car. When men can approach a female in a car and say this to her and expect her to immediately respond in a positive manner, and if she does not and attempts to drive away, if they can take her life, I fear for our lives. Do not assume that it can only happen to her. They aggressively approached her. Cars were going around her in various ways. But when she made her move to extricate herself, to move along, to move her car, officers started to shoot. She was shot. One officer shot through the side window as she was moving away. Now, you don't have to know this lady. I don't know her. I don't know who she was, other than what I have seen and what I have read. But the truth is, officers ought not be allowed to do what was done to this lady. There should be an investigation that includes the local constabulary. If you truly want to be transparent, if you truly believe in liberty and justice for all, if you want the people in this country to believe that what occurred was the right thing, then you would want the local constabulary to be involved. But no, this administration is shutting out the local investigation, and they are including only the federal investigation, which means by some thought processes that they have no desire to let this go to a trial. There are people who believe that this administration has no desire to let this case go to a trial. For edification purposes, I am one of them. I don't believe that they want this case to go to a trial. I think that this is why they have decided that only the federal authorities will investigate. I also believe that if the case goes to a trial, and if there is a conviction, and it is a federal conviction, I believe this president will do for the person or persons convicted. I believe he will do for them what he did for the people who assaulted the citadel of democracy on January 6th. I believe he will pardon. And I believe he will do it without question, reservation, or hesitation, just as he did it for those persons who assaulted this Capitol. And he did it immediately after being sworn in. Mr. Speaker, I fear for the lives of the American people. And again, I say that includes me. I think we have a reckless, ruthless outlaw who has found his way into the presidency. And to further validate my thinking, I have here the words of the President of the United States of America, Donald John Trump. Here are his words when asked if there were any limits on his international power. I know what happened within the country was national. This deals with international power. Give me just a moment, please, of your time so that I might connect these dots. When asked if there were any limits on his international power, here's his response. It's my own morality, my own mind is the only thing that can stop me. Some things bear repeating. My own morality, my own mind, it's the only thing that can stop me. Mr. President, what about Congress? What about the Constitution? What about the power to declare war? And where is that power vested? What about it, Mr. President? Only your mind? Only your morality? I won't go into the president's moral standards. I'll leave that to you. So what the president is saying is, this joint resolution, SJ Res 90, over in the Senate, here's a copy of it. Permit me to read some excerpts. It reads, joint resolution to direct the removal of the United States armed forces from hostilities within or against Venezuela that have not been authorized by Congress. SJ Res 90. It goes on to say, resolved by the Senate and House of Representatives. Eventually, if it passes the Senate, it has to come to the House for our approval. Resolved by the Senate and House of Representatives of the United States of America in Congress assembled, Section 1, findings. Congress makes the following findings. 1, Congress has the sole power to declare war under Article 1, Section 8, Clause 2 of the United States Constitution. Mr. President, the Constitution still has some relevancy. The Constitution is not meaningless. Goes on to say, Congress has not yet declared war upon Venezuela or any person or organization within Venezuela, nor enacted a specific statutory authorization for use of military force within or against Venezuela. So, only his mind, his morality, that's the only thing that can stop him. This resolution won't stop him. Here's what he knows. He knows that if it passes the Senate, he knows that if it passes the House, he knows that he has a vote. And he knows that if he votes no with his veto, he knows or believes that it will not be overridden. Well, I still say this is the right thing to do. I say this because you cannot allow a president to do what he has done in terms of going to another country, bombing the country, to do this and not put some check on him. At least you have to try. You can't just allow it to happen and decide we'll wait until we can override his veto. Pass it in the Senate, even if it never passes the House. You ought to pass it in the Senate. House should pass it. But if the House doesn't, the Senate is doing the right thing. Pass it. Let him know that there are some people who are watching. By the way, the president also gone on to say that the five Republicans who voted for this to move forward, that they shouldn't hold public office again. Threats and intimidation. This president spells the word respect, F-E-A-R. That's respect. He wants people to fear him. I don't fear you, Mr. President. I'm concerned about your behavior. I'm concerned about what you might have your underlings in some way do to me. But I want you to know I will not be deterred, just as these senators.
All right, y'all. So I love that he said that, and I second that notion. I am going to have to go ahead and cut this video off a little bit short. I did not get a chance to play the entire speech that Representative Al Green had to say, but you know I have the link in my description box if you guys want to check it out for yourself at a later time or date. I did watch all of it, and I was wanting to present it to all of you. But what he said there at the very beginning, at the very end, I cannot agree more. We are not scared of you. We're not scared. And I think this holds true to a lot of us, not just council members, not just people who work within the governmental structure and system, but just the everyday average person, whether they live in the United States or another country. We are not scared of any regime. We are not scared of any dictator or leader. Us as the people, we do not walk and live in fear. I know I don't, and I think there's a lot of you out there as well that don't also. And so, yes, when I'm doing these videos and these lives, I bring a lot of this information to the forefront. If you have not seen it or watched it or heard about it, which I know a lot of y'all probably have, I like to bring it to the forefront so we can talk about it together, whether you have seen it or you haven't seen it. If you haven't, then I'm presenting it to you and you're learning something new. If you have seen it, then we can have a conversation, an open conversation about our thoughts and feelings of what is happening within the political sector, not just of the country that I reside in, which is the United States, but worldwide. These are the type of conversations that I like to have. This is the type of information that I like to bring to the forefront, to the platform, for us to be able to engage in together. And I second the notion that Representative Al Green said. We're not fearful. We're not scared. I am not scared. I'm not scared when it comes to politics in the government. I am not scared when it comes to how these people move and operate on this YouTube platform. Anything. I am not fearful because my Lord tells me that I should not walk in fear. Because if I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil. Period. And I believe that, and I hold that to be true. And I have two scriptures that I want to share with y'all real quick before we get off of the live. And again, I don't mean any disrespect. I do understand everybody may not, read the Bible or be spiritual and things of that nature. And so I don't need to play these things to disrespect anyone. This is just what I believe and what I practice and what I listen to. And so I had two scriptures I want to play. So first I'm going to play a scripture from Corinthians, and then we will play a scripture from Psalms. And after that, we will get up out of here. I will cut this live off, and I will talk to y'all on the next one. I do appreciate each and every person that has come to the live to show support and converse with me and, be a part of the conversation. I really appreciate that. I really do. But yeah, let me go ahead and play these scriptures real quick and we'll get up out of here, y'all. And I'll talk to y'all in the next one. All right, here we go. Corinthians 13. Though I speak with the tongues of men and of angels, but have not love, I have become sounding brass or a clanging cymbal. And though I have the gift of prophecy and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and though I have all faith so that I could remove mountains, but have not love, I am nothing. And though I bestow all my goods to feed the poor, and though I give my body to be burned, but have not love, it profits me nothing. Love suffers long and is kind. Love does not envy. Love does not parade itself, is not puffed up, does not behave rudely, does not seek its own, is not provoked, thinks no evil, does not rejoice in iniquity, but rejoices in the truth, bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never fails. But whether there are prophecies, they will fail. Whether there are tongues, they will cease. Whether there is knowledge, it will vanish away. For we know in part and we prophesy in part. But when that which is perfect has come, then that which is in part will be done away. When I was a child, I spoke as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. For now we see in a mirror dimly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, but then I shall know just as I also am known. And now abide faith, hope, love, these three, but the greatest of these is love. He who dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God. In Him I will trust. Surely He shall deliver you from the snare of the fowler and from the perilous pestilence. He shall cover you with His feathers, and under His wings you shall take refuge. His truth shall be your shield and buckler. You shall not be afraid of the terror by night, nor of the arrow that flies by day, nor of the pestilence that walks in darkness, nor of the destruction that lays waste at noonday. 1,000 may fall at your side, and 10,000 at your right hand, but it shall not come near you. Only with your eyes shall you look and see the reward of the wicked. Because you have made the Lord, who is my refuge, even the Most High, your dwelling place, no evil shall befall you, nor shall any plague come near your dwelling. For He shall give His angels charge over you to keep you in all your ways. In their hands they shall bear you up, lest you dash your foot against a stone. You shall tread upon the lion and the cobra, the young lion and the serpent you shall trample underfoot. Because He has set His love upon me, therefore I will deliver him. I will set him on high, because he has known my name. He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. With long life I will satisfy him and show him my salvation.
We're going to allow what are perceived to be noble ends to justify unconstitutional means. At some point, the Constitution of the United States of America will become meaningless. Noble perceived ends to justify unconstitutional means. The president should have brought this to the attention of the Congress. He did not do so. He did, however, bring it to the attention of the oil companies. Have the oil companies replaced Congress in the United States of America? Is what they think more important than what we think, given that the Constitution has given us the authority to declare war? I know that this is a difficult topic for some people to embrace, but this is where we are. Congress has become irrelevant in the minds of this president, in the mind of this president. It's not relevant. It's not. His own morality, his own mind, is the only thing that can stop him. Well, Mr. President, you're wrong. Congress is relevant. And just as the Senate took this action, Congress should take action. Congress, meaning the House of Representatives, by definition, the House and the Senate make up the.
All right, y'all. So I'm gonna go ahead and end it here. I wanted to play the whole thing for you. I really did, but you know, we will talk about this and speak about this in a later time. You know, your girl Golden is always going to bring you the political news, the updates, and things that are going on, and we will talk about it. And I hope for the future that you guys will not be fearful to come in and speak with me, and we can converse together, regardless if we see things the same way or not. That is how we get to a point where I feel like we have the proper outcomes. We need to be able to talk to each other and have these conversations as a group, as a people, as human beings, despite the fact that we may live in different countries. We need to be able to talk about these things on a serious and a deeper level to get more understanding on what is going on and the different thoughts and feelings that we have about it as the people, outside of the leadership that we may have in place at the time. And so I welcome you all to always come and talk with me, whether you agree with some of the things that I'm saying or you don't. I really think that that is what it's all about. We're supposed to be able to converse in these type of ways, whether we agree or not. And so I thank each and every one of you who is listening to this live, join this live, whether you've been in the chat engaging with me, or maybe just listening from the bushes or whatever, while you're going to work or while you're doing a chore or something like that at home. I appreciate all of the support. I absolutely do. And I hope that we all can speak to each other very soon. Please feel free and welcome to come and talk with me. I understand YouTube drama happens, and when that happens, there's another side of me sometimes that is shown and comes out. And it is not who I am on an everyday basis, and it's not the version of me that you would get if we're having especially conversations about these type of things. That's for a whole nother purpose, and y'all know what it is. Y'all know what be going down, and you know sometimes you gotta pop out and show injustice, okay? But outside of that, I really am a very loving person. I love education. I love to have deep conversation, especially when it comes to politics and things that's affecting us as a people, not just in the country that I reside in, but in this beautiful world that we all reside in. So please feel welcome and open to come and share time with me and talk with me, because it's not gonna be that, y'all. I'm not gonna meet y'all with that type of energy when it comes to us talking to these type of things. So please don't be fearful. And I hate the fact that you may have been scared away from me as a person, because I've had to show a ugly side of myself. And I ask God every day for forgiveness for doing so. And I know that as we move forward and we get with the right tribe and the right collective, that, you know, we will be just fine, you know. But it's about just meeting up and matching up with your people. And when I say your people, it has nothing to do with race. It has nothing to do with where we are located in this big, beautiful globe. We are human beings at the core, no matter what race, no matter what country we live in. We all are one. And I love that. And that is what really, you know, I want to put to the forefront, that I want to push forward. And I've always wanted to push forward. That is me at the core, how I feel and how I think. And I love each and every one of you. So thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to go ahead and end this live with a quick little bop. Y'all know I always got a bop, child. I got a bop. So we're going to end with a little bop. And I will talk to y'all in the next one. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. And I hope you guys have a beautiful rest of the day, evening, night, respectfully, whatever time zone you are in. I hope you have a great rest of it. Thank you so much. And I will talk to you guys soon. I'm out. Let's bop out.
Yeah. You thought you was safe? Yeah. You thought you was safe or good. everybody looking for a home, looking for a click, looking for a place where the realness sticks. We out here building, trying to be free, but you just here to use them plain to see. I see you a user, a culture vulture, a leech, acting like you love the speech just so you can preach. You see the glow, you wanna get near it. You hear the soul, you try to engineer it. Wanna be in the circle, get the benefits, but you ain't put the work in. You just counterfeit. You a political operative, smiling in their face, just a snake in the grass, trying to take their place. We out here searching for a tribe, trying to be free, trying to live our best life, but the snakes stay closed, wearing a disguise. Now you got mad, showed your true self, no surprise. You been pop, dumb bitches, read your rights. You been pop, dumb bitches, read your rights. Yeah. It's the activist in me that's gotta speak the truth. I'm allergic to the fake, been like this is my youth. See them in the comments, singing all the praise. Go sis, go, while they plotting in the haze. Plotting on a downfall, plotting on a spot. Thinking they can use a light to get what they ain't got. But you can't use a mirror, you can't use a queen. Your whole entire persona is a fucked up scene. You a resource sucker, energy drain. They bring the clouds, we just trying to bring the rain. But we see you, yeah, we see you. Your little mask is cracked and now you cornered, about to see how you searching for a tribe, trying to be free, trying to live our best life, but the snakes stay close, wearing a disguise. Now you got mad, showed your true self, no surprise. You been pop, dumb bitches, read your rights. You been pop, dumb bitches, read your rights. These people don't care about your life or your struggle, they just wanna break you down and make your hustle tumble. Now we see the true colors at the core of these people. Their whole foundation is evil. We at war and we question these people. Golden has love for her people, and I've been trying to warn people. This is the ugly truth of the world. Watching all the snakes uncurl, here's the revelation, the part you should've known. A person's real character is when their anger's shown. You got pressed, you got mad, and all that fake ass love you had turned to poison. Jealousy and spite, they hate cause you that bitch and shining too bright. You ain't no friend, you just a hater in disguise. Walk past, head high, don't look them in the eyes. So here's the diss, you lost, you're done. Your fake support is over, your little game is run. You pop yourself, bitch, we ain't have to do a thing. Just sat back and watch you pull your own damn string. You been popped, you can't infiltrate this. Your mask is on the floor, go pick up your shit. We out, we out. You kid, yeah. They drag us from the coast, middle passage madness, where we lost the most. Packed in hoes like cargo, spirits in a cage. Built a brand new nation, lived a life of rage. Yeah, we were the property, the 3/5 compromise. Picked the cotton, built the White House with our hands inside. And they watered all the poplar trees with our blood and cries. Yeah, you know what they were for beneath the southern skies. That strange fruit, hanging message of their hate. A simple wrong look was enough to seal your fate. To my brown kin, they just stole it, called it manifest. Killed the Aztecs, stole the planes, put them to the west. The good old days, the signs on the wall. They want us broken, silent, waiting for the call. They wanna push us backwards, drag us down to hell, but we ain't going back, not going back. We ain't going back. We ain't going back. We ain't going back. Let's talk about a word. Sing your word. Let's talk about a word. See how it sticks. 6 letters, COLORED to politics. Not a person, just a label, just a shade on a chart. A legal way to tear a whole damn race apart. Colored water fountain, Colored waiting room, colored entrance round the back, a social living tomb. Jim Crow was the law, man. Segregation was the tool. Taught a child to hate his own skin before he went to school. And it ain't just here, that's the global view. Apartheid, colonization, yeah, they did it there too. That word was a weapon, a boot on the neck to say you live, you die, you move at our check. They want the good old days, the signs on the wall. They want us broken, silent, waiting for the call. They want to push us backwards, drag us down to hell, but we ain't going back. 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 Don't you dare say it's repeating. It never stops. They just got new suits, new slogans, new cops. They ban the books that tell the truth of Act 1. They call a protest riot soon as the marching's done. They tell us get over it, it wasn't us. While they build the same systems of them and us. Gerrymander the district, choke the money from the school. Praise the good old days while they fill the modern jails. This is the warning, this is the last thing. We learned your lessons, now we understand. We are the children of the ones you couldn't break. We are the dreams that you could never ever take. We are the fire you tried to douse with ice. We paid the cost, we ain't gon' pay